Do you think I need light on my face or it's okay this
No,
way?
you're
Because
perfect.
it will get darker. Let me try.
Yeah, but it's good. He has natural light.
What about
Yeah. No, too much.
too
It
much?
looks like too much light now.
Yeah, but then you have to tell me when the light will go on because
We'll tell you.
it's very cloudy and it's raining in Rome.
It looks very bright in your apartment.
Thank you. That's because you are visiting.
Okay, we're gonna start letting media in, okay?
People are going to come in from the waiting room.
Okay.
Oops.
There's a lot of people entering.
Yes. Hi, everyone.
Good morning.
We're gonna give everyone a couple minutes to join. Thank you all for joining us this morning. Everyone's having a hard time with me. Yeah, totally. Here it is. Because then if we do the speaker, then we can see him and then we just have everyone on the side. For those who just joined us, hi, welcome. We're giving everyone a couple minutes to join us and then we'll get started. Thanks for being here. Sorry, I'm all giddy.
Yeah. One more minute.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's my notes. Okay. Yeah. Get moving?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Welcome today to the olive oil tasting with Armando Manni and the Oil of Life. We are so happy to have you here. It's really nice to see so many familiar names and faces pop up after the year that we've had. And I don't want to intro too much except to say that this is it's kind of like taking a little trip to Italy today. For those of us who are in the States and still not yet able to get over to Europe, this is a fun way to go and have a little taste of the earth, the soil, the sunshine, and all that goes into making this beautiful olive oil what it is. So without further ado, please meet Armando Manni. He's coming live to us from his home in Rome. The oil is produced in Tuscany where his mill is, and he'll take you through all of this. But Thanks so much, Armando. It's so great to have you here today.
Good morning to everybody. Thank you for coming in Rome just to taste our oil. I'm very pleased and flattered by your attention. Tell me when you want for me to start, and we will start this short chat before to go through the oils.
Please go ahead, Armando. The floor is yours.
Okay. How many people are we now? Because I had the computer very far from me.
There's about 12 people here.
Okay, so welcome to everybody. I can't see all of you. I'm sorry. My computer is far from the camera. So I don't know how much you are familiar with MANNI Oil, but we are on the market since 2001, and we have been producing for all these years a very special oil, in general reserved for top chefs restaurants all over in the world, and celebrities and so on. So is this one. Is our Grand Cru that normally is sold in a gift box like this that contains the bottles. So we have been a lot of protests by people that say, your oil is too expensive. It's fantastic, but it's too expensive. So you should make something that costs less. And we have been thinking a lot about that because we are not interested to mass market because the quantity is not matching with quality in general. But in the last 3 years, with a huge investment project that was between 4 and 5 million euro, so over $5 million, we created the first mill in the world that is doing circular economy to make an oil that is totally sustainable and using a special technology that we developed with the University of Florence in order to upcycle all the waste. Because the people knows very well that extra virgin olive oil is very healthy because the polyphenols, the antioxidant, but the people doesn't know that from the olives, only 15% of the antioxidants that are inside the olives are going in the extra virgin olive oil, even if you are doing a perfect process. The 85% is going in the wastewater. So we have been working for the last 3 years to create a technology that is giving to us the possibility to extract and not waste and not lose all the antioxidant. And we got it. Now we create a magical powder that step by step we are introducing all over in the world. A company called Child Life is making special cookies, and they are in the business of children's food. And in this meal, that is the first, as I say, in the world, doing circular economy, and so totally sustainable because we don't have any waste. We create our new oil, the one that you have here, probably you know that is called the oil of life. We have been very lucky because this is a very strange story. When I started the company, I launched the oil in 2001. So, and in September we had the Twin Towers. Then I opened a super niche hotel in Rome for only 2 people that was called Casa Manni that won a lot of awards, like the 101 best hotel in the world and so on. This was only for 2 people, and this was open in 2009 when there was the crash in the stock exchange. And now that we create the oil of life, we did create the oil of life during the year of COVID. So I guess that probably our company is like to be challenged. So, but the oil of life has been a very blessed product because this oil, 2020, is the best harvest we had in Tuscany from the last 15 years. The quality of the oil is superb. And like in the wine business, when God is giving to you a great harvest, a great vintage, not in terms of quantity, but in terms of quality, you can ruin it. But if you work properly, you will keep the quality of the olives, producing a great quality olive oil. So that's the reason because we are very happy. What do you know about extra virgin olive oil? First of all, you have to understand that olive oil is for 95% composed by monounsaturated fat. So it's the healthiest kind of fat that we can introduce in our body. You know that our body, especially the heart system, the circulation system, needs to have fat inside to process vitamins during the digestion. But as you know, we have good cholesterol, bad cholesterol. The monounsaturated fat is part of the good cholesterol. The animal fat is part of the bad cholesterol. The interesting thing is, as I say, 95% inside the extra virgin olive oil is made by fat cells, monounsaturated fat, and the other 5% is made by the so-called minor components, for the most polyphenols. The smell and the taste of an oil is coming from the polyphenols. And the role of the polyphenols played is the role to protect the fat cells from the natural oxidation. Everything oxidizes. I have signs on my skin that are not wrinkles, are just sign of oxidation, sign of the action of the free radicals, increased by UV rays, increased by oxygen, increased by efforts, temperature, that gives sign to my skin. The polyphenols are a great defense for the fat cells inside the bottle, but when we intake the extra virgin olive oil, only if it's still extra virgin in the moment that we are consuming it, and this is something that I want to underline, the polyphenols enter in our circulatory system, and they're going to protect, in the same way that they do in the bottle, the fat cells in the system. Because the fat cells otherwise will be attacked by the free radicals. The free radicals will make explode the fat cells, and the fat cells will be transformed in a sort of foam that will stick inside the arteries. And years by years, the foam will decrease the size of our arteries, aging and creating heart disease. So it's important, the role played by the polyphenols in our body. It's important, the role played by the polyphenols inside the bottle. But because of that, it's important that when we taste an extra virgin oil, in order to have all the health benefits that are also preventing heart disease, preventing cancer, especially for women, the polyphenols and the extra virgin olive oil has been analyzed constantly, and there are several clinical trials made by the Spanish that can give you numbers regarding how much the extra virgin olive oil absorption can protect women from breast cancer. That is the top cancer we have for women in general. So I'm underlining the fact that it's important in order to get all the health benefit, but also the pleasure of the smell, the pleasure of the taste, that the oil is still extra virgin when you take it. The problem is the law all over in the world is say that in few words, but the people ignore that when you buy a bottle labeled extra virgin olive oil, by the law, you are buying an olive oil that at the moment of the pressing, because the olive has been only mechanically pressed, and the analysis of the juice that is coming out match the chemical parameters that define the commercial category extra virgin olive oil, you can print a label extra virgin olive oil. If you are not matching, you are matching probably the second category, that is virgin oil, or the third, that is olive oil, the worst. But this is only at the moment of the pressing. So when you buy a bottle labeled extra virgin olive oil, you are buying an olive oil that at the moment of the pressing, because the way that has been pressed and because the result of the chemical analysis has been declared extra virgin. But in the same way that when you catch a fish in the ocean, in that moment, the fish is fresh. 2 weeks later, the fish is totally oxidized. Bad smell, it's not good to eat. This is not happening to the oil only because the polyphenols like soldier will sacrifice themselves one by one in the bottle to protect the fat cells from the oxidation. But one day they will be gone, like the soldiers in the army. In that moment, the oil is not expiring. And in fact, on the label, you don't have an expired date. You have just a best before date. Why? In general, it's 18 months from the bottling. The reason because you don't have an expired date and instead you have a best before date 18 months after bottling is because the people that make law knows very well that at a certain point the oil from extra virgin will go down in the category, will become virgin. There is still a good oil in the sense that is good fat cells, monoinsaturate, but without the polyphenols are so healthy and so tasty for us. So what is happening is that in general, very few people in the world has the chance to taste and enjoy a real extra virgin olive oil. The Davis University in California in 2010 made a fantastic research. They bought only in the gourmet stores, not in supermarket, but only in the gourmet stores in different places in California, 180 bottles of extra virgin olive oil. And they made in June the analysis. And the result was 85% of those bottles was not anymore extra virgin, even if they were top quality in top gourmet stores. And this is June. Normally the people use for the most extra virgin olive oil in salads, on fish in the summer. So think about September, October. Because of that, since the beginning, we changed the distribution model in the business of olive oil. We didn't give our oil to distributors. We only FedEx all over in the world for the last 20 years, giving the warranty to the clients that in the moment that they were receiving the oil was still extra virgin. And 7 years ago, in a fantastic event at Per Se in New York with Chef Keller, with bloggers, journalists, we gave for the first time a vertical tasting of oil. 3 different vintages analyzed 1 week before from the University of Florence to certify that was extra virgin. And this has been a fantastic experience. In some years, our oil in top vintage can keep extra virginity for 3 years. But in general, it's impossible for you guys that buy oil in shops to buy a real extra virgin olive oil at the moment of the consumption. It's not a fraud. It's just because like the fish, everything is oxidized. And if it's not well processed, if the bottle is not UV ray resistant, but it's light or clear glass, if the oil doesn't have argon or nitrogen inside, inner gas to protect the oil from the oxygen, will go away, will decrease from extra virgin to virgin. So the goal of this speech is to give you basic information about extra virgin olive oil and tell you that the challenge of today for us is to understand, tasting our new oil, the oil of life, how to detect, or if it's possible to detect if an oil is still extra virgin or time to be virgin. So to transform your mouth in a sort of chemical laboratories. Of course, I can give you some tips, but like in the wine business or in the wine, when you drink wine, the more you drink in the years, the more experience you will be, and the more you will be able to give just, I don't want to say judgment, but to understand that wine respected 2 years before, 3 years before of aging, how was, or if that wine in the vintage 1985 is better than vintage 1990 or 2010 or whatever. So I guess all of you have the oil of life, and I would like for Agatha to introduce the oil of life, and then we will go through the tasting. I will teach you, I'm sorry for the word teach, but I will show you how. Hi, Ryan.
Ciao.
I will show you how to taste extra virgin olive oil and the way that you should taste it to understand if it's still extra virgin or not. And then I guess we can go through questions if you think you have questions. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. So everyone should have their oil of life in hand, and I believe a plastic cup or something to warm it up with. You'll see Armando has 2 blue glasses in front of him, which he can talk to you about. and also some water and a napkin. If you don't have this and you want to run and grab something, please go ahead and do so. And I won't belabor it. Armando, take it away.
Sorry?
Go
No,
ahead.
I lost.
We are ready.
Okay. Okay. So we
And I
will
want to
need
mention, wait, Armando, sorry, I jumped the gun. If anyone has any questions, we have extensive notes, and I know Armando took us through very briefly all that he knows about extra virginity, the process in which the mill at MANNI goes through to preserve the integrity of the polyphenols around the fat cells and all of this. Katie, Amelie, and myself have tons of literature and information that we can point you to if you have any questions. And we can also cite the studies that he mentions from Spain or the University of California, UC Davis, et cetera. So all of this is doesn't just sound good with Armando's beautiful accent, it actually means a lot. So we are ready to back up any of what he said with the right information.
Do you have questions about the short lecture I gave to you before we start with the tasting section that I guess will create other kind of questions? If you do, please ask me now that we are on time. I guess we are on time, Agatha, no?
Okay, so let's take us through the tasting, Armando. We're ready.
Okay. Okay, so first point, the right glass to taste. This is the glass that has been using for olive oil tasting. It's dark blue because the color of oil doesn't have any meaning. It's like the color of the hair of a woman. You never know if it's true or not. The same is for the oil because the color depends by the kind of trees and then from other parameters. So when we taste the oil, we don't want to be, how to say, influenced by the color. And that's the reason, because you should not buy oil in the transparent glass bottle because the color doesn't mean anything, okay? So the other very important thing you need is a big hole, because maybe you will spit out some oil, okay? Because there is a technique, and I guess not everybody could be at the first shot be able to do that. So what I'm going to do is something that I would like for you just to follow and then try to repeat. And so I will drop here, I will pour a good portion of oil because we are going to drink it. Now, the other point is the difference between olive oil and wine. The first is that wine has alcohol inside. So when you want to smell a wine, normally what you do is pour in the glass and then oxygenate the wine in this way and smell. And the alcohol will deliver to you the smell. The oil doesn't have it. So what we are doing is to create inside the cup that you have a different temperature between the inside the glass and the outside, so that because hot air is going up, we try to warm with the body temperature the oil inside the cup, closing the cup with the hand. Be careful, the hand should be clean, without perfume, without cream that is smelly, otherwise you will be affected. And then start to move the oil inside the glass, not because you want to oxygenate the oil, but just because you want to be sure that the oil is in touch with the heat of your hand. And you will see that at the beginning, this glass is cold because our temperature is centigrade 37 degrees. I don't know in Fahrenheit. Agatha can help me, but you will see that step by step, the glass will warm. So go ahead, please, until the moment that you don't feel that there is no difference in temperature between your hand and the glass, because I want to show you what is the second step. So please go ahead, warming up. The second step is, in the moment that you have this feeling that is warm now, it's hot, you will take out the hands and very quickly you will put your nose in the glass, the closer you can, and you will inspire with the nose strongly and thinking about colors. Be focused on colors because to taste oil is very difficult. And the kind of reference we have for the wine are very different for the oil. So think about colors. We will start to talk about colors. When this will be done, then we will start the other part that is the most interesting, in my opinion, is the one of the tasting, where we can detect 2 or 3 tips for us to understand if an oil is still extra virgin. So if all of you are ready, I would like to hear everybody saying yes. Otherwise, I don't know. So we have 12 people. Please tell me if you think you are ready or not. Okay?
Ready.
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 Yes.
Ready.
Okay, so
Yes.
look at me and try to repeat, but must be quickly. Okay? Smell. And think about colors. Breathe. Smell it again. And think about colors. And now, guys, in brainstorming, there are no rules. Start to talk about the colors you can hear here. You can smell. Light.
Green.
Get a
Yeah.
violet, like a purpley violet color.
Purple and violet. That's an interesting notation. Both.
Are you telling me I'm wrong? You just said there's no bad ideas in brainstorming, Armando.
It's interesting, the purple violet, because you know that the olives, when they are ripe, are totally green.
Yeah.
Then they start to mature. And the moment they start to mature, we say that they invaiano. And they start to have yellow, red, purple. And purple is the last step before to be overripe. That means an olive that is totally black. In the past, because the farmers was having a problem of quantity, because the more oil they were producing, the more they were surviving. They were used to harvest super ripe olives that can produce more oil, versus now that we start to harvest when it's green, green, yellow, green, red, because you have to think that the quantity, let's say that this is, I don't know, ascisse ordinate, okay? Think when you have a car, okay? The quantity of oil inside an olive, starting from 0, then with the ripeness is going up. At the same time, the quantity of polyphenols in an olive, starting from infinite and going down with the ripeness. So there is an ideal crossing point between the quantity of oil and the quantity of polyphenols contained by the olives during the process of ripeness. And the ability of an olive oil maker is to catch that point that is acceptable for the quantity of polyphenols, acceptable also for the quantity of oil contained by the olives. Think that in the past, a farmer could have 20% of the weight of an olive in olive oil. Our normal rate is between 10 and 12%, so it's almost the half. But the quality of the oil, in terms of smell, taste, because the polyphenols is not compatible with the oil of the farmer. So the other point, don't buy oil from farmers, okay? Because it's the same that you don't do when you buy wine. You don't buy wine by a farmer. You buy wine from a winemaker that's invested a lot in research, in technology, that care a lot. So, and the same is for olive oil. Now, do we have any comments about smell? Any questions? Don't be ashamed. It's not an examination. It's just a taste.
And there's no wrong answer, right?
No, there is not, because everything is subjective and depends by the experience of your body. Because our receptor in the nose and in this part of the body are thousands and thousands. So it's very interesting.
The smell seems to change now that I've smelled it a couple times. Is that possible?
Yeah, it is possible. First of all, is that now you have to do again the process, because the oil, probably the smell is decreased in terms of intensity and in terms of nuance, because my oil now is cold again. So I had to do again the process. The green was very, very present at the beginning. But in my opinion, there is a lot of mushrooms. So there is a lot of earthiness here. So like mushroom, or also, you know, the artichoke. The artichoke has a vertical part, the stem.
Stem.
Stop.
Okay. When you cut it, making a salad, I can smell this part of an artichoke, but I can smell also the leaves of a tomato. Can you smell the leaves of the tomato? There is something bitter, acid, but also with some remind me tomatoes. But the heartiness is very present here. I love it. Radish, how do you say? Roots, sorry, no, radish is something different. Roots, smell of wood. And by the way, if you eat an olive when it's green, you can't talk because the polyphenols are so astringent that you can't open your mouth. It's like to drink, how do you say, pure wood. Okay, I don't know. There is no comments about the smell, so I don't know what to say.
Should we proceed to the tasting part? Maybe there will be more comments there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I didn't smell the tomato leaf, but once you said it, then it triggered me to smell it. So
I lost the connection. You smell what?
once you said tomato leaf, that became very prominent for me as I'm smelling it. I have a hard time deciphering what those scents are. I do think that like it's lunchtime here on the East Coast, and it made me hungry when I smelled it, right? Like it filled in, it created all these olfactory senses that were coming. I'm like, oh, it's lunchtime. So
I agree with you. I mean, smelling this, my imagination is going on the white plate where I have red tomatoes cut in half and buffalo mozzarella with black pepper on top. And I dream to pour this oil on top. Because the other important thing is polyphenols are a fantastic ingredient to decrease fatness in the mouth and to keep the taste of the ingredients. So if you have something, I remember in London, we were with, what is the name of the super Japanese chef in Los Angeles?
Nobu?
Nobu, exactly. At the Nobu restaurant in London, he presented to us the salmon plate. He has a famous salmon made there. And the salmon was fat. I say, well, it's a little fatty. Can I pour some oil? Oh my God, Mr. Manni, you want to put oil on something that you are complaining that it's fat? Yeah, because the oil will decrease the fatness, will clean our mouth from the fatness, and the real taste of salmon will dance in your mouth. Taste one drop of this oil on the chocolate. And by the way, with Chef Keller in California, we are making a chocolate that instead to be added with cocoa butter has some drops of our oil. So when you taste that chocolate, it's velvety and the oil is taking away the fatness of the cocoa butter, because anyway, there will be cocoa butter in the seeds. And you will have cocoa for 15 minutes dancing in your mouth. It's fantastic. So use the oil to complete a dressing, but also in a way that can clean from fatness. How it works? Well, polyphenols, magical ingredient. Now I'll show you how to taste and to understand if an oil is still extra virgin.
Armando, just a second. We have a question.
Hi, I have a quick question. So you just talked about how olive oil can alter the taste of fat in the mouth, but my understanding was that extra virgin olive oil is a fat. So would it not increase the taste or the sensation of fats?
Only if the oil is not anymore extra virgin. I will show you now in the tasting how your mouth is incredibly dry after drinking the oil, totally dry. What is happening is the polyphenols, if they are robust in the extra virgin olive oil, will clean your mouth. You will have the mouth of a baby after drinking this. The first chef that I served in the States was in 2002, Jean-Georges von Gerichten. I'm a foodie from ever. I was a filmmaker. I was flying to Los Angeles where my agent was there. I just been winning the Golden Globe in Italy, so I had the agent there. I was flying to create the second movie. And so at Jean-Georges, I was telling, I made this oil and so on, just for my son, because our oil is for my son and for myself. These are the Grand Cru. And Jean-Georges was complaining about the fact that at that time, the people was smoking cigar in the bar. The people was arriving, eating chewing gum, and he was depressed because he was saying, well, my cuisine is very ethereal, no, very light. And if the mouth is corrupted, the people will not be able to taste. And he has been the first to order me 800 bottles. I didn't was organized to produce 800 bottles. I just had the oil that I brought to him because I was a client there. And it's been an incredible success. Jean-Georges was offering the oil to every people that was sitting at having a meal there at the beginning of the meal to clean the mouth with a spoon. Sometimes people was asking for bread, but at the same, I mean, who of you is tasting wine with the bread? And who can taste the oil with the bread? It's totally wrong. Anyway, this was the story. So you will see, Annika, that your mouth will be totally dry. Like a baby, your tongue will become a fountain, taking out saliva that will wash the mouth, and your mouth will be perfect. It's the same that is happening to us when we eat a main course that is heavy, in general, or fat. In general, we drink red wine. Red wine is rich of polyphenols, not like the oil, but it's rich of polyphenols. And the reason is the polyphenols will clean our tongue, our papilla, how do you say papilla? The perceptor from the fat. Otherwise, bite by bite, the fat will stick on the perceptor and you will not taste anything anymore because everything will be covered by the fat. The problem is that because the people is not used to taste extra virgin olive oil, the oil that is used, it was maybe extra virgin olive oil, but in general, bad quality, and the people is used to put a lot. When we bottle the Grand Cru, on the back, we write, the serving size for Food and Drug Administration is a tablespoon. That means 15 grams. In our opinion, of this oil, you should use a coffee spoon, 5 grams. Then, like when you cook, you add salt. Start with a small quantity of salt, and then you add step by step, because if you put too much, it will be gone. The oil that in general the people is used is not as a condiment. It's something to make greasy something. In this way, instead, with the small, you will have a condiment that can dance with the other ingredients of your salad, of your food in general. And now, because my mouth is watering talking about this oil, I want to taste it. So the procedure is this. You have enough oil to make a good sip. Make the good sip, but don't swallow. Just keep in the mouth and breathe air in the mouth. I will show you how I'm doing. Keeping the oil in the mouth. You have to inflate air through all the trough and this part of the body. The more you will inspire, making a huge noise, the more you will be able to taste the different part that we are interested in tasting in this moment, okay? So I will do first, and then you go, okay? Smell it, and then sip it. Sip it doesn't mean a drop. A drop, don't do that. Otherwise, there is no point. And then spank with the tongue on the palate. Please go. I would love to listen the noise.
I don't know how to do this one. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Never buy an oil that doesn't make you cough at least twice. Okay? This is the first tip. Why Emily, that of course I've been paying her before, why Emily make to cough? Well, one of the most important polyphenols is called oleocanthal. Oleocanthal is a potent anti-inflammatory, and it's the one that Pennsylvania University in 2011, I guess, published on Nature. They discovered that the reason because probably the oil is so good in preventing cancer is related to the oleocanthal, because oleocanthal, being a potent anti-inflammatory, is decreasing the inflammatory process in the body. That is the first stage of a possible cancer. What is interesting is that on Nature, they publish the molecular design of oleocanthal, and close to that, they publish the molecular design of the most common anti-inflammatory, industrial anti-inflammatory made by people, that is ibuprofen. The design of the ibuprofen and oleocanthal are almost the same. So what is making us cough is the oleocanthal. And we want to have a high quantity of oleocanthal. If you talk to a high-end consumer in Korea or in Japan, they will ask you how much oleocanthal the oil has inside the bottle. And for them, it's a very important information. Now, don't drink. Emily, there is no point to drink. Otherwise, you have to repeat now. Now, to understand if the oil is still extra virgin or not, you should not drink water. You should wait. What are the points? First of all, make you cough. Second, the only fatness you should have is on your lips. The lips, you should feel lips fat, but the mouth, Annika, do you have your mouth dry?
I actually was not shipped samples. I'm just taking notes, but I'll let you know in the future when the samples reach me.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No worries. You tell me. How's it going for you guys?
And then you will see that from the dryness in the mouth, you will start to have the feeling for the first time in your day of saliva, clean saliva coming out from the tongue like a fountain. And the mouth will be overwhelmed by this clean saliva, and you have a feeling of fresh and clean mouth. It's very, very intense as a feeling. And step by step, the bitterness, the pepperiness of the oil will transform in something very sweet. Your mouth will be clean and sweet at the same time. And we took a very small quantity. So I think for a portion of a coffee spoon, it's something good. And then I love it.
I will add, I think Armando, or for Anika, my lips they feel like I just put chapstick on it, but not chapstick that's sticky and residuey, but it's just, they're very moist. And then in my mouth is nice and clean. And I do feel the remnants of the pepper quite a bit.
Mhm.
And hope, once you get the oil and you get to taste it at home and like, think about all of those things, like it just feels very smooth and very clean.
Mhm.
I don't remember what it was like to be a baby, Armando, but I would imagine it might be something like this.
Thank you.
So it's the sign that we are looking for is this: mouth dry, coughing, and then a lot of saliva coming out in the following 2-3 minutes. The difference between a real extra virgin olive oil and the bad quality extra virgin olive oil, or an extra virgin oil that time to be a virgin oil, I'm sorry by the noise, is that your mouth will be fat after tasting this oil. Instead, when you drink a super extra virgin olive oil, the mouth will be totally dry, and the feeling of the different flavor of the oil will be all over in the mouth. Okay?
Yes, we have a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, there was a moment when I got this bitterness in my mouth.
It did.
I never tasted before that I can remember with olive oil. I never drank it by itself, but is that just me or?
No. It must be. It must be, because if you don't have this bitterness, means that, as I explained before, the oil has been done in order to get more quantity from a very ripe olive. And we don't want to have that, because this means that the polyphenols are very low. So we want to have the bitterness, the pepperiness. We want to cook. This means that that oil has been produced with an olive that was between green and yellow red, but not already totally purple or dark. So this is very important, because the more polyphenols we will have at the origin, in the first moment of the oil, the more polyphenols will keep along the month in order to protect the fat cells inside the bottle. And we will have some chance when we buy that the bottle is still containing extra virgin olive oil. Because the three enemies of the extra virgin oil are oxygen, so means air. Never buy a big bottle that contains olive oil. This is the first point. The bottle must be small. You open and you finish in a week, no more. Why you do that with wine and you don't do that with oil? Who of you is opening a bottle of wine and without putting argon or inner gas inside, protecting from oxidation, is going to drink it in 4 days, 5 days? Nobody, because the oil will be oxidized. The same is happening to extra virgin olive oil. So the bottle must be small, not big. Small means very small quantity of oxygen. Or if you buy 1 hour oil, inside there is no oxygen, there is argon, inner gas to protect the oil. Like this oil never breathe. We process during the pressing, and then they have been in stainless steel tank under inner gas, entering in our process, bottling with inner gas, and then cork. So you see there is a film around that in order to press the cap on the bottle. And this is important. We don't want to have oxygen touching the oil. Instead, the people has big bottles at home. I saw even magnum of oil. It's ridiculous, no? So, and the second enemy after oxygen is UV rays. UV rays can decrease 40% in 2 months the polyphenols inside of an oil. So it's crazy. And everything is available in the scientific literature. So you want to buy a bottle with a dark glass. This glass is 99.99% protecting the oil from UV rays. It's a German patent, and I've been introduced to this glass by Angelo Gaia, that is one of the top winemakers we have in Italy, because it's the same glass that he used for his top wine, Soritil Dean, Sori San Lorenzo, the best Barbarescos you can buy and drink in your life. The third enemy is temperature. There is people putting oil in the fridge, that is insane. But in general, people is keeping the bottle of oil just close to the gas machine in the hottest place in the house, that is the kitchen. So the kitchen is the hottest place, the gas fire is the hottest place, and the oil is standing there. No, the oil will get ruined by that. Try to put aside. So we want to have a small bottle to finish quickly. We want to protect the bottle from the heat that will destroy the polyphenols. That's the reason, because when you cook using extra virgin olive oil, use a very small quantity of extra virgin olive oil during the cooking. And now with the special fried pan that is no sticky, you can do it. And then when it's done, add some extra virgin olive oil fresh. You will have a fantastic smell coming out. and your body will be so happy because you are giving fresh, pure antioxidant to the body. So I have 98 years old, and this is my oil. I had.
We have two questions. I'll tee up Jane first and then Owen.
You know, hi, Armando. This is such a treat. Thank you so much. And I just wanted to say about the tasting, I actually have a question about the no waste and the circular process. And I feel like maybe that I should punt for later. But I just wanted to say in terms of the tasting, I think what's really fun about this is the waves of flavor that you get. You know, it comes across as like super smooth and rich and almost sweet. And then all of a sudden, like sort of out of nowhere, you get this rush of the sharp pepperiness that kind of hangs around, and then it changes again. And I think, you know, I mean, I'm pretty good about spoiling myself with good olive oil, but I have never kind of taken that much time to experience it all by itself. And it was really interesting to kind of sort of just watch it rise and the taste rise and fall and the different flavors come through. So thank you. And Emily, I have to jump off, but I'm gonna come back to you on the no waste thing.
No problem. Thank you.
Thanks.
Part of that, but I pray you to keep going in tasting other oil. Please do that, and you will see the difference. It's like the wine. The more you experience, the better it is, because it's a sort of dance, as you say. Sweet, bitter. It's like love. It's a love relationship.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us. Owen.
Thank you, guys. Ciao, Jane.
Yeah. Owen,
Yeah.
the floor is yours.
Thank you, Armando, for doing this. It's great fun to taste oil. Good to
Okay.
see you again.
Yes.
This is a two-part packaging question. One is, how long does it keep after you've opened it? And the second is, why did you choose this lid and not a lid that screws onto the bottle?
Oh, this is going inside a bottle, huh?
Right.
Okay. But the problem of the cork that we use for the Grand Cru is that sometimes it's difficult for people, especially for aged people, to open it. You have no idea how many emails. There is one lady that is around 82 years old in New York that confessed to me that she loves our oil. She bought it, but I'm talking about the last 12 years. And she has the doorman coming up to open the bottle. She say, well, you know, once a week he's coming. I say, okay, give it to him, one bottle. I will replace it. So it's not easy. Then on this special bottle, we want to create this, but this is only a first step. So I want to tell you something that nobody knows, but we have in process, and it's 1.5 years that we are working on a special cup. So this cup in the next 1.5 years will be same shape, but inside there will be something that can be connected to your iPhone or your phone with an app that we will generate that is telling to you that if the oil inside is still extra virgin or not. Because the real problem for me, being a consumer, is when I buy a bottle of Brunello, there is the how do you say, the seal.
The seal.
The seal Toscano we have here with the serial number. So in general, it's not a fraud. When I buy a bottle of extra virgin olive oil, I know that it's not going to poison me if it's not anymore extra virgin. But if it starts to be virgin, I'm paying like an extra virgin, but I'm not getting the pleasure and the benefit of that. So we are working here in the company with the university to create this. And COVID create problem to us because we were waiting for some microchip from Japan, and they arrived 6 months later. But in the future, on the top of the cup, there will be a small bottom. You will click on the small bottom, and opening the app of your iPhone, you will be able to know if it's green light or red light. Green light means that we are over 300 polyphenols per milliliter, 300 micrograms per liter of polyphenols. If it's red, means that it's going down. So the oil it's not sure that it's still extra virgin, because the problem are the distribution, you know, the storage in the stores, in the shops, and so on. That's the reason, because we ship directly. No, now we are shipping constantly every day all over the world, and that's fundamental.
So once I've opened the bottle, how long will it stay good if I store it properly in the dark in a cool place?
Oh, dark you don't need, because the glass is really working perfectly. I mean, I don't have in my house this place. I mean, in the cellar I have the wine. If you have a wine cellar, that's a great place. 16 degrees is the temperature we use in our mill for the storage of the oil before bottling and after bottling. So the oil that is bottled and ready to go is 16 centigrade degrees. Winter, summer, that's constant temperature, it's perfect. So then we had oil that we are analyzed every 4 months by the University of Florence. Now, they got sample in the moment that we bottle, and they keep in the room temperature in the laboratory. And every 4 months, they open a new bottle and they analyze it to give us the certification of extra virginity that, as I told you, is fundamental for me. In special vintage, and this one, 2020, will be one of this vintage special, I guess we could arrive to be extra virgin for almost 2.5 years, despite the fact that the law obliges us to put on the bottle 18 months after the bottling as a best before date. But I'm very faithful that with this vintage, we will be able in 3 years by now to make another tasting.
Armando, I think his question was, once you open the bottle, how long until it starts to lose its potency? Or how long how long should it take you in a night? You know, we live in New York, you order in a lot of food, you don't cook every night or whatever, but how long would you recommend? I know you said a week earlier, but how long will it still be good for if you don't consume it all in a week?
Well, this bottle could be perfect. Perfect means without any kind of possible difference in your mouth or in a chemical analysis for a week for sure. The bottle, this one is bigger. Well, let's say a month, something like that, because the oil, you have to think that in the moment that we open this bottle, for the first time, the oil inside is taking UV rays entering from the how do you say, the bocca, from the top, and oxygen and UV rays. Okay, so the process will start, but until that moment, the bottle has been slipping in a sort of, how do you say, like the beer, the winter, something like
Hibernating.
that. Yeah, so at that point it starts, let's say a month, but this is 250 grams. You could, I mean, I finished 250 grams in 2 weeks. No doubt about that. But if you are a family, it could take even 1 week. And actually, remember always what I told you regarding the service size. The people is normally asking to me, how much is the cost per liter? I say, why you are asking me in this way? Go to a chef and ask to a chef, how much is the cost of this dish? And the chef will tell you that per serving size, that dish is costing this, this, and this. It's an addition of serving that is doing. So if you consider this as a serving size of 1 coffee spoon is one thing. If you think about this as a serving size of 1 tablespoon is another cost per serving, of course. If you think that in a salad, the people is normally putting at least 3 tablespoons of oil because the oil doesn't taste. In this case, you will save money because you use 1/3 of your normal serving. And at the same time, the quantity of polyphenols that you're taking is so high that it will be very good for your health. So it's an advantage. Decreasing the size, decreasing the quantity of oil that you are putting because the oil is super concentrated at the end of the year will give you a saving of fat enormous, and also saving of money, of course.
I'd like to close out with one question, Armando, or just a reminder. I know that we have some editors on with us today who are in the health and wellness and beauty side of things. And there is also benefits. Some people take the olive oil every morning. I know that you've mentioned some of your clients take it on an empty stomach in the morning to kind of coat their bodies and really get to absorb all of the benefits of the oil, whether it's for your skin, for your gut, you know, all these words and conditions maybe that people are trying to cure with lots of different supplements, but the oil itself can act as a supplement as well.
Yeah, well, first of all, you know very well, being a woman, trendy, and New Yorker, that at this point, the beauty treatment are made with external things and intake also of something. So there is a synergy between the two things. On the health side, yes, Thomas Keller, chef, very famous in the States, every morning is taking 1 spoon of the MANNI oil, our Grand Cru, with empty stomach. And this is giving to him two things. First, the empty stomach will absorb immediately the bioavailable polyphenols. On the fat cells, instead, will cover the stomach with a thin film that will protect the stomach from acidity and so on. And this is on the health side. On the beauty side, Gwyneth Paltrow, when she was using the oil to make massage on her body, it's an old tradition in Europe, in the Mediterranean countries like Italy or Spain or Greece, to use the oil on the hair and on the skin in general. This was a beauty treatment, even at the ancient Roman time. So you know very well that an anti-aging treatment is made by good ingredients, but also by a good booster, because the problem is to enter in the skin and arrive to the specific level where you want for your active substance to work. The oil is a fantastic delivery. It's a fantastic booster. And the antioxidants are great.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
If we don't have any other questions, I think we'll wrap up. I think we took a good chunk of your time today, and we're very excited that you were able to join us and stick around for this. I hope you learned a lot. We're obviously available for any follow-up questions you might have. Armando is very generous with his time as well. So if you have, questions that you'd rather have, one-on-one with him, just let us know and we'll set that up for you. And we hope everyone enjoys their oil and clearly
Anika will get you yours.
Yes, Anika, yours should be coming this week.
Yeah, and anyone else.
I'm excited.
Yes. Anyone else who needs anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. And then hopefully the borders reopen this summer. And if you're headed to Italy, I know that Armando would love to see you in Rome, or even give you a tour of the mill.
Yeah, the meal will be a great experience, people,
Yeah.
because it's the first in the world that is working in this way. It will be a very experience, and then
and we'll have more information on that soon.
And we do have this as a recording, so if anyone wants it, we can certainly send it to you afterwards to go back and listen again to some of Armando's words. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you all.
to everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Ciao.
Thank you.
First olive oil tasting we did.
Yeah.
Ciao. Thank you.
Bye.